You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love. Hey guys.
That was an awesome trip.
Hold on a second. Dan, how did you say hello in China or in Japan? What did
Ni
you
hao. Ni hao.
Ni hao and konnichiwa.
It's Japanese.
Bonjour. Hello.
French.
Howdy.
Das Vidanya? Or is that
Das
good evening?
Vidanya, all that
Is that
stuff.
good evening? Is it Vidanya, good evening?
George?
Hello, George. He's still not on. Oh, there he is. There he is. George, did you do rock and rolls?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
George, did you do rock and
Did I do rock and roll?
at the extension at Clearwater, or was that Fisher?
I did them.
That was George.
I haven't pictured the song.
Fisher had a better.
But you did them, right?
Fisher
Because
had
I
a
mean,
better. I did them.
and
That
no
was-
one
that
else-
was-
Yes,
that was
the only person who did back to back was Alan Gelfand. He did
Right,
rock
right,
and
yeah,
Yeah,
roll
I had the
one
picture a
side and
minute ago. I
rock
was
the
trying to
other.
put it up.
That was like the iconic picture was Alan doing the rock on the extension.
And then our hero, we went there from Miami. My dad took Rob Rodriguez, Monty, and a couple of the others, Tracy, Sean. You guys don't think you knew them. And we went to that Clearwater contest, and I guess Tony Alva was that one where Tony Alva was there, and Alan was there,
Hackett.
and Monty.
Hackett, yeah.
And Monty did rock and rolls on the extension. He was our claim to
Yep.
fame, man. You remember, right? He did them then?
That was gnarly. Yeah.
mean-
it was so fucking hard because there was nothing you had to get it around, and then you had a 4-foot drop, and then there was no flat bottom.
And that little
It was a
kakunk,
kick.
Going up the next hole.
and that little kakunk right at the end of the plexiglass and back to the concrete. Just to
Yep.
wake you
I
up.
have an extension. Yeah, I have an extension on my ramp. I call it the old man extension because it's just easier to drop in from that into an air or something
Yeah.
instead of you doing all the work to get there,
Anyway, welcome to the Skateboarding Bros Show. And welcome to the zoo that is having 5 guys that have been skating for 250
Birthday
years.
party. Was it Mark Lake's birthday party? We had a great session.
Of course.
Oh yeah, and just so you know, that is the last time Mark Lake did the lake flip. Was at that he
Right.
did it, and he even
Oh,
told me.
okay, so was the all 80s day in Orlando? Was that after that? Or
No,
before
that was before that. I couldn't
Yeah,
go
'cause
to
they-
the
they
all
did one
80s
there.
day. I couldn't go to the all 80s day. What year was the 80s day?
I want to say 2009.
Okay, I couldn't go. I couldn't skate at that time. My hips were shot. I almost had to.
Mike did a McTwist. It was like all he could get. He got one. He did with twist and pulled it. So and Tony
Yeah,
slammed hard. So
Yep, and the thing with Mike, he kind of flips his McTwist where it's
well,
the
they're
easiest way
more
to do
upside
it.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, the easiest way to do it is like Tony, just to spin.
Right.
That's when I was trying them. That's how I
Mike did
tried.
like head over heels, kind of.
Right. Well, Lance does them head over heels, and he makes them every time. But,
So you did 540s, Rob?
I spun them. I never landed one. I did gay twists like nothing. I did caballeros, and I was spinning 540s, grabbing meth backside, backside air. And I came really close, but I never made one. I never had a good enough ramp back in the long time ago.
That's
And-
me too. I didn't ever have a good enough ramp.
You have a really good ramp,
Yeah.
where you don't have to worry about speed. It's easier to do those kind of tricks, But
So
Well, there's
does
that and the
this
balls
make
thing.
it easier?
yeah,
Do you guys seen this picture?
I am.
over
Yes.
That's Mr. Weir's hips now.
broke hip.
And he's got a large.
I
balloon
never
in it.
broke
shot.
my hip, but they were
Oh,
fractured. I fractured my left hip. Oh, there's the picture. Okay, so look at that metal. Look at that gap. It actually. So after my surgery, I couldn't work for like a month, and I got this little stunt driving job on a car commercial, just driving a car. And it's like 5 a.m, and I'm in catering line, getting my food. And there's a couple people came up to me and they go, wow, I don't know what it is, but. And a couple people said to me, man, you look taller. And I didn't really think about it. And the next time I went to my orthopedic who did the surgery, he says, yeah, by the way, your bones were your cartilage was so crushed in and everything. And you were just so messed up. It was the worst. It was one of the worst he's ever seen. And he made me, actually, it's made me a little taller than I was, you know? Yeah, it's just kind of who gets that chance in life, you know, to get a little taller as you get older. But the funny thing about my doctor was when he came in, he has his, you know, he throws the x-ray on the wall and he's showing me everything. And he goes, you're the worst I've ever seen. We want to replace both hips at the same time. At the same time. You guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was scared. I said, are you kidding me? You want to do, it's not just my left hip. He says, your right hip is right behind your left hip. And if you're healthy enough, so I had like a 5-hour surgery to make a long story short. They had to make sure I was healthy enough. I had to give my own blood before the surgery so I could get my own blood back after the surgery. And I mean, I was on my stand-up paddleboard 2 weeks after the surgery and it changed my whole life. I couldn't skate at all. I mean, I could hardly even walk. So
That's
so
amazing.
I'm just happy. And that was 2000. I want to say 2012 or something.
The implants are looking good, man.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Let me see if I can find where we were before my Wi-Fi shut us down. All right.
But you cut out.
Sorry. Is that bad too?
No, I'm seeing it. You're looking around for your stuff. Doesn't bother me. That's actually cool.
So
Okay.
then actually, so back to the hip thing. Where do you want me to start again?
Go ahead. You're back and you're on the paddleboard.
You might as well get it out of the way. So what happened was I went to this rehab.
Oh, there's runway.
Oh yeah, that's a frontside hand plant, not a Miller flip. That's when I was doing like hand plants before I met you, Dan.
Yep.
And that's a laid back little board slide in a donut bowl there, which Wayne Hildreth that was his favorite bowl. And that was after the runway closed. But that's right after the Burger King commercial because I still had those Mad Rats. And I think that's, it might have been on PAL then. You can see the little medium half pipe back there. We used to do rock and rolls on that yellow brick wall.
You got Powell Copers on there.
Yeah, Copers.
Yeah.
I don't think I was riding for PAL yet then.
No, that looks some kind of, almost looks like some kind of Beamer looking board, doesn't it?
No, I think that's the board I did the Burger King commercial with. That
Oh, so it's like a Rodriguez kind of thing or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look how big the
That was the big deal
are.
they did with me. They said we can't have logos on it, so that's why I got that like diagonal black and red stripe thing, which then became like the green pattern after that. So.
Oh, you know what's
really
great?
just to cover up the board so you didn't see brand names.
The Burger King, which was right down the street from the skate park, like about a mile.
They just closed it, right?
It's closed, and I actually went by there today because I had to get propane in my motorhome, and there's a place right by where the skate park was, and the Burger King was all graffitied. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know, that was a long time ago, so I can't believe it stayed open that long. So.
Yeah.
They were paying their actors. They were paying their actors too much. They could have to close the doors.
Those residuals wiped them out. That's it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dan. Well, I thought we were just gonna get what was the day pay like six?
It was SAG standard day pay for like 8 hours, so it's 300 and after taxes like 308, 328, something like that.
Back then.
And then it just went national. Like it'd be on.
Here you are, Alan.
I was
cartoons like
trying to get that rock and roll picture.
A dozen times in a cartoon in a weekend, and then you wait a week or two, and then J. Walter Thompson, you get a check for like $2,000, $3,000, and they just kept coming.
Yeah, then we were getting all these checks. That ruined my life. It was too easy money. It was like I had all this money, going into high school, and I bought like a truck and fixed it up, and I had all the chicks to take to lunch. Right. It was great.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. Brought my new Camaro.
Awesome.
Brought 2 new Camaros.
See?
84, yeah.
I think I got $25 for the commercial I did.
Well,
Didn't go long.
to this day, it's probably one of the best commercials. You know, I did a Wrigley gum one after that. I did over in Europe.
I was just saying,
Gave me a buyout.
even Jello pudding pops didn't pay what that one paid.
Let me see if I
No,
can.
to this day, I still say that's still one of the not that I do that much stuff anymore, but it's still the most money I ever made on a commercial. My first job.
It was
Talk
national.
about
It
that.
was national run for 9 months. Like, there it is.
There it is, the front side air.
And there he is, right? That's yellow helmet. That's Rob.
So I did a backside air, and I made it, and you could see my back foot come off, and I made that.
Well, that's what I had the heel spur. So it's like every time I landed, it was like,
Yep.
yeah.
Hey, Kim, there's your brother.
There he is.
The Burger King commercial.
Oh, coming into the late. Oh, there's that Burger King that closed.
Yeah.
And then we end up on the big skateboard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Afternoon delight. I like the terminology they got there.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I mean, okay. Like I said, that's the stupidest commercial, right? We made ridiculous money out of that thing.
See that? All right. So the front side invert on my Kryptonic board there.
oh, you want to see that?
Yeah, that guy in the shadow there. You see a guy on in the background there. There's a shadow. That's Wayne.
This is Wayne.
Yeah.
We got a picture of him somewhere in
You see
here.
the shadow in the bowl. The shadow in the I can't see it right now because I see you guys, but it's like to the right of
Yeah, you can see it.
Got
Yep,
long
you can see
hair.
it.
Yeah, that's Wayne. It's so funny. We laugh. I go, yeah, that's you, Wayne.
I
And
like
said,
I
well, you
like
didn't
the wrist and elbow pads you got there, and then this sketchy Norcons.
Those are Norcon. Those are my
That's
Norcon.
what's that, 70, about 76, 77?
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's not that.
Jeez.
Really.
Yeah.
But no, you got flyaway, you got the full blown, full flyaway. I'm not flyaway, Protect.
Yeah.
No, that was my.
That's
Yeah.
That's like the full, there you go.
Oh, there-
That's the iconic one.
So remember, they said, didn't they want us to practice doubles? They wanted us to do doubles in a commercial or something. That's why we did that.
Yeah,
Right?
Nike. Apparently Nike saw this.
Freaking Nike had
Jesus.
a lot of market share for a while there. I mean, they were
Yeah.
the shit. And they could have capitalized on it, but they didn't.
Right.
Those shoes were amazing back then. They were really
yeah,
good.
I mean, what turned me on was Salva turned me on. When Al and I went out there, that's what Salva was riding when we went out there, and he turned me on to those, and I got a pair. We went to like the band store. He says, "No, you should try these," and I tried those, and I was like, "Yeah, they save your ankles. They got support. You just had to get used to the fact that you couldn't feel the board real well through them, but once you got used to that,
That's why I still ride Converse. I ride Converse still now because I can put them on and I don't got to break them in.
I've got a pair of the old Vans, so I picked up some of the Vans Blazers, some OG ones, and it's great because you put them on, your foot there's like, oh fuck yeah, I remember this. Then you hop on your board and you go, oh yeah, these things suck.
Yeah, no, these are what I'm riding now.
I ride Vans. I've been riding. I'm on the Vans tip.
yeah, exactly. Hold on.
That's what I'm riding. I could put them on brand new and go skate.
There you go.
I mean, if someone's to send me some shoes, I'll wear them, but I got to break them in. I've always been
and these
picky
are the other
with
ones.
shoes.
Classics.
All right. Sorry, guys. I'm fuming over here, but thanks for hanging
okay.
with me.
No worries.
The interesting shot I have is this later day sensation Basin picture.
That's a frontside rock in the bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not trivial.
No,
Not
No, it's
trivial.
not.
Right there.
that was when they painted it blue to try to make it fast, and you can see speakers up. It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it was so hard to get speed, but I learned you would just pump slowly the whole way down that one wall when you went in and all the way up it when you came back. And the other wall was a little tighter. And I always used to ride against Chris Bockham, Cleo, and all those guys. And I always used to say, if you get second to Chris Bockham at Sensation Basin, it was the same as winning
Yeah.
because you never beat him. You know,
you're rocking a pretty cool porn stash there too, Robbie.
I can't even see that. You guys are blocking the picture. Yeah. I don't know how old I was then, but I was probably
Yeah, hold on.
14.
We're going to see the porn stash.
14 or 15. Oh, this is when I was riding for
That was Kona.
Oh, you want to go back to that? I was.
No, I mean,
Oh, you're still on the. I see the frontside rock at the Pepsi Challenge. Oh, that's Kona. That was when the first time Monty and I went to Kona, and I was riding the Burt Lamar board, and that's the orange firehouse ramp, obviously.
Burt Lamar with the what's that bird
Flapper.
thing?
Yeah, the cutouts. Yeah, the Lamar cutouts. Yeah. I like that board. That was a good board too. I like that board.
How far back
I
is
like that
For a while.
And I remember everybody was freaking out on Monty when we were there. They were freaking.
Good reason to. He was destroying shit.
He
was just power skater from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, how it worked out is when I was a kid, one day I got my house across the street from my house was an elementary school and this great cement area. And there was this guy freestyling one morning, and it was Rob Rodriguez. You know who it is, Dan. And he was doing all this crazy stuff. I always say he looked like a ninja backlit, doing all these spinning things and all this and that. So anyways, he ends up taking me to the runway one day, and that's when I met Monty, and Monty's dropping in his big half pipe, and I'm just like, holy shit, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So
what's the Rude Boy deck? Where'd you get that from?
Yeah, well, that's when I wasn't riding for Pal anymore, and I went back. Bruce told me when I left, when Stacy called me and says, hey, well, that's a whole other story with Alan. I won a contest at Kona, and Alan was like, hey, what's your number? I want to skate with you sometime. So then the following Monday or Tuesday after that contest, I get a call from California. It's Stacy Peralta, and I thought it was someone punking me. My mom said it's a guy named Stacy Peralta. I said, so I hung up. So Stacy called back, no, it's really me. So the next thing you know, he's asking me if I want to ride for Pal. And I said, sure, absolutely. But I got to talk to Bruce Walker first. So I called Bruce Walker, and I thought Bruce would be happy for me. And Bruce was like, oh, if you quit Walker, I'll never take you back. You'll never have a model. Well, so anyways, I said, well, I got to go. It's like playing for the Yankees. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Peace, I'm out.
I got to go. So I went for about 4 years, and I had that knee injury and whatever, and had to quit for a while. And to make a long story short, Bruce took me, Bruce was like, hey, I hear, I saw him at a contest or something. And he's like, hey, this is the board I have for now. It's like, and Chris and I were both on PAL too, along with you, Dan. And as soon as Chris left PAL, Bruce gave him that model. So I was riding the Bachem board for a while.
Well, I was pretty much just flow for Apollo, and that was actually kind of Alan, because Alan and Stacy was Stacy said, I didn't know he was that good. And I said, well, he's good at contest or something to that effect. And then so it started flowing me for that little bit. So
well, you used to do those board slides at the low side of the peanut bowl at Solid Surf. The rock slides, I couldn't believe it. Of course, you did them everywhere else too, but that coping was all beat up, and you used to go click, like all through there.
That's my favorite. Actually, my favorite spot. That and Cherry Hill. I like that little far bowl. Not the.
Never was that Cherry Hill.
Not the big bowl, but the one all the way down to the end. That was great. You did the place for rock slide.
Awesome skate park for the time. It was so.
Oh yeah.
What isn't Cherry Hill just filled in with dirt?
Yeah.
Isn't it still there?
What's that?
I think
Cherry Hill.
Cherry Hill is underneath.
Yeah, it's buried.
They just covered it up.
It's there, but it's buried.
It's
So
buried.
they just filled it in, built over it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So future
Frontside
ancient
air.
alien episode.
That frontside air on the Bachem board is at Cambodia, the first Cambodia ramp.
Wow, Cambodia won. Wow, that's legendary.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about that was, that might even be the day, Caballero was in town playing a Miami Beach, a faction show. And Caballero called me up, hey, I'm in town. I want to go skate. And I went and picked him up at his hotel on the beach, and I took him to Cambodia, and everybody shit themselves. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it.
So he's in a hotel on the beach.
Yeah, he was playing at this club on South Beach. I forget the name of it. The Kitchen Club or one of these clubs. Or Washington Square, I think was it. And anyways, of course, it's before cell phones and all that. He has my number, and he calls my house. It's, hey, Stevie, I'm here for I want to skate. So I pick him up and take him there, and I come in there, and everybody at Solid Surf. And here's the craziest thing. Of course, the Solid Surf, I don't know what the transition then was, maybe 9 foot. It wasn't 10, not even 10 yet. It was still kind of tight before they changed it and made it bigger. And it had the channel. And Stevie just drops in doing his Stevie thing. Smooth, his first run. Click, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, clack. Frontside ollie across the channel. Boom, stops. And I'm just like, now that's a pro. I mean, come on, man. Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's why he's
on the beach. That's right. That's why he's on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
He
told me, bro, you got it. And he told me then, I was right, because I won the Cambodia contest on that ramp. And I don't know if it was before that or after that. And Bunsey and I were going head to head. And I ended up, what happened was in the preliminaries, I fell on every run. So I went back to my car, I was throwing my pads in the car. Remember, I had a Rabbit hatchback. I had to hatch up, throwing my pads in the car, getting ready to go. And I think it was Paul Schmidt or someone, hey, no, you made the cut. You're in 10th place. I get, really? So I was put my pads back on, and I went over there, and I never fell again the rest of the contest. And I won, to make a long story short. It was the best contest I ever had. And then I should have, yeah.
Were you in the mix with all? You were in the mix with all that Grigley's ramp and all that stuff too, right?
Yeah, no, Grigley's ramp. My first contest back after my knee injury was Grigley's ramp, and I think I got 4th place. That was a big ramp. Holy shit! And it was the first ramp I rode with a channel, and I was riding pretty good, feeling pretty good, and I landed. And it was in the contest run. I did a big backside air, and you land so perfect. And I'm looking, and I was perfect for the channel. And I did an invert across the channel. It was the first time I ever tried an invert, got across the channel, and I made it in the contest. First time I ever tried it, and I made it. And I remember that like it was yesterday.
What years were that?
So let's think about. So go back to Cambodia when you won. What do you remember of the tricks you were doing back then?
I was doing these rock slides to fakie, but not to fakie. I was doing the rock shuffle, the 1, 2, 3 to fakie.
Yeah.
I was doing these huge long rock slides to a shuffle into a gay twist. Yeah. And
around what year was that? Because I was never at Cambodia my whole life.
It'll be 82.
83.
After 81, right?
I say 81, 82, right?
After
wait a minute. It's like somewhere around 83, 84,
Okay,
82, 84. Could be, no, it was 84. Oh, and here's the funny thing about that Cambodia contest. All my friends from the Falls ramp down in Miami, we had this ramp we called the Falls ramp. That's where we all rode at. After I didn't make the cut, they all left, right? Funniest thing. This is before cell phones and text messaging and all that. 2 days later, I show up at the Falls ramp, and I go, hey, guys, did you know I won that contest? And they said, no way, you're kidding. I mean, they were laughing so hard. They didn't believe me. They thought I was kidding them till they heard it from someone else like a week later. Yeah.
So did Cambodia have prizes? Did they have prize money or have sponsorship or anything? Or
yeah, I guess we won like boards and T-shirts and all. It was I think it was still, I want to say it might have been the Florida Backyard Series that Paul was doing, because we had a contest at Naples. We had one in St. Pete, and I think that was one of the other ones. In Naples, right. I got 2nd place to John Grigley at Naples, the Naples contest. And I was still on PAL then. And that's why I was riding so good. And then right after that Naples contest is when which I call my left knee is my trick knee. You know, that's when I hurt it and it became a trick knee. Like every now and then I jam it. And and it's still to this day, I jammed it a couple months ago. And I'm just still happy to still play around with it, you know, still being able to skate. But
Hey, Rob, did you ever skate USA?
I never skated USA. Everybody else did but me. Yeah.
I would figure you probably dealt with that pinball ramp. Did you do?
Well, I rode the pinball ramp when it was at someone's house, and then it was at this drug dealer's house.
When it was still at that.
Oh, did you ever hear that story?
I never had that ramp.
Well, back in the 80s, of course, we had the Cocaine Cowboys and all that going on, and of course, I don't know what that was back then.
I read about it. I read about it in Time magazine. I heard that was going on.
So there was this rich guy that bought a couple of the pinball ramps, and he lived way southwest Homestead. It's called the Redlands. There's a lot of rich people living there. And I heard about it, and my friend who was a surfer, Jack Rivas, he was a photographer. He said, hey, let's go there. So I picked him up and we went there, and we jumped over the fence, and I'm riding a ramp, and it only had, remember, Dan, didn't it only have like a foot platform on the top?
Oh yeah, nothing. Yeah.
It had nothing, like a foot. It was just built.
Like when it was at that skate park on 103rd, they put like a plywood deck on one side, but the other side was open air. Yeah. So like
when I was riding it, all it had was like a foot, like fiberglass mold.
Yeah, so if you rocked it or you did anything with it, you were committed.
I'm dropping in and just flying around, inverts, backside airs, inverts, and then boom, boom, and you could hear me boom, boom, and this guy comes out with his guns, and he's like, "Oh my God, I thought someone was playing the drums or something like." And he came out with all his girlfriends, and it was like the craziest thing. Yeah. He was going to shoot us. When he saw,
did he have?
Robert,
were those things ever work? Did they ever work? Did the pinball ramps ever?
No, the pinball. Did you roll over something, a light go off, and the score?
No, I never wrote it. No, yeah, I never wrote it.
Maybe the original intention, but it was obviously stupid and never worked. So it was just a ramp, you know. Okay,
yeah.
Let's say Alan and I did a demo out in Texas with Jeff Phillips. What was that? 80? 81?
It's got to be early days because
that was like that was the same kind of thing. Fiberglass pinball rampy thing.
Anything after 81, I know nothing about.
So actually like 80, 81. Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas, a demo on and it was Jed. That was like when I first saw Jed Phillips when he was amateur. That was the pinball ramp.
The first time I met Jeff Phillips was at Sensation Basin. That's the first time a lot of us saw him. You know, and he was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, he was out for the Kona. He was out for Kona. That's right. I was like, why the fuck would he be there? But yeah,
he showed up at Sensation Basin and dropped right into an invert in that bowl, and you know that you just don't do that, you know. But he did.
Hey George, what year did Basin close? You know, around when?
82,
83, 82, 83.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only open 5 or 6 years.
You know who really skated the Basin well on his first fucking drop-in was Eric Grisham. I skated there with him one day, and I was like, fuck me, this guy is good. He had all kinds. He had a fucking full bag of tricks there in that pool, and I was just amazed.
Well, I remember back to the runway bar. I remember, Alan, didn't you show up at the runway once? You rode it for like 20 minutes. You did your ollie in there, and it was crazy kinky.
I escaped from that place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I
mean, maybe it's just, you know, memory makes it better, but I didn't think it was all that bad. But now that I'm thinking back, it's pretty bad.
Imagine if they built the Basin again, exactly the way it was. Everybody would go, "What?"
Paper finish and everything, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been so awesome if it was built the way it was supposed to be built. I mean, Clearwater didn't have a chance. You did a rock and roll, Alan. You're doing a rock and roll on one side. You could touch the glass on the other side with your hand. All you had to do is reach out.
I just texted you a picture of that.
That is crazy.
I remember that, Alan, like it was like I said, like it was yesterday. unbelievable. And those your tail blocks, your tail stalls, how perfect they were. You did those ollies into them, and your pogos. Forget the pogo.
Oh, the
You're like
pogo.
5-foot pogo, and you would land, and you'd be turning in almost before you landed, right?
I remember the pinball ramps falling off the backside a bunch of times, but in active stalls. But then I remember, like, when half the time you do a rock and roll, you'd slide sideways all the way to the bottom of it, you know?
Oh yeah, it was like ice. Yeah.
Unless you're real simple of the pinball things and you got, you know, tossed.
I think we
I
should
can
bring
still
back
remember,
the pogo.
remember that sound.
Oh, there we go. That's on your board, Alan. That's when I first got on PAL. You're riding a tank board. Thanks to you. And if you look at the bottom of that picture, that's Jeff Phillips at the very bottom to the left.
Yeah.
You can just tell by it sitting on his board.
I think it's Sam Meyer right underneath the tank.
Maybe.
Could be.
Look at the Cobras on there. Yeah.
Mad Rat sticker. You're still sticking with Mad Rats.
Oh, those Mad Rats. I still got them somewhere.
Spot is sitting over there.
You had to pay for Mad Rats. At least SIOs, you got them for free, but Mad Rats you had to pay for if you want to be cool.
Where's this? Where's the
The
invert?
pads were great. They Velcroed in. Yeah.
So, I think we should bring back the pogo, gentlemen. Who's gonna start?
I don't know. I was thinking of doing one. You know what? I'm gonna do one and do a video of it. It won't be a big one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
pogos,
right, so
and
that's-
then aerial axle stalls.
No, that's
Remember that?
Yeah,
That was
but no, I still.
fucking-
Alan used to do the back. You know, to go into an axle stall. Alan used to do the little ollie backside axles. You know, on the axles. And I did one of those. You know,
I was gonna say they used to get pissed at us at Solid Surf because we were breaking the coping with that crap. We were going to air axle,
Right.
chunks would come out and they go, "Stop doing that."
yeah. Alan, are you at your shop?
No, I'm at Kim's house. I'm at, you know, it's funny. I mean, I got to get a video of the Burger King commercial for Kim's brother, Dave Russell, and
Oh, that's right. He's in. What he was smaller than us, right?
yeah, he was tiny.
Yeah, he was on the big. All right, so on the commercial, when we go in front of the Burger King, and following Dan, the magical Burger King, I guess he was to the right of me because I was behind the magical Burger King, and then there was the other two. And then the funny, Dan, I don't know if you remember, but do you remember when they put the magical Burger King on the big skateboard and we hit a sandbag and we all fell on him? You weren't. It was the funniest thing. You weren't there. You were the stunt double, and he almost got killed. They pushed us. You know, remember the big skateboard? It didn't turn.
Right.
It just went straight.
So then it was like they did away with him and stuck me on it. So it's like I got someone that actually knows
Right.
what skateboard is.
And
So,
he was an older guy, and
Yeah.
and we hit the sandbag, and we all fell on. I fell on him.
like the 360, like the 360s, right? The trick that never worked. They had the food tray with a trigger underneath,
Right.
and I'm spinning 360, and I pull the trigger, and the food would pop up, and it just never worked. So what they did is they had me spin, and then they just do a quick cut to tight shot of him smiling. So it's like spin, 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 spin. It's me. Boom! The shot of him smiling is him with the plate. You know, with the plate. Same thing with the skateboard. They tried him, and he died, so they stuck me on. You know, so.
I'll tell you what, Burger King's hurting these days. They should redo that commercial. That's what
right.
they should
Oh,
do.
there you go.
Back to the
There's
cake.
Alan's.
We want the cake.
That's the one. That's the iconic shot right there.
And for them, it would just show how far ahead of the times they were by doing something like that.
Right behind Ed. Yeah. So, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, you know, I'd love to see if I can't like burn a.
Well, you know,
copy.
Ed McNamara would. Dan, you knew Ed McNamara. He was a producer for that. That's what
later.
happened.
In other words, I didn't know.
Right.
It's funny because I worked with all those guys years later. You know, in video. You know, because like Steve Marcus and AFI and all that kind of stuff. And that's how I got my copies of it because I still had a 1-inch videotape, and that's where I originally got my first copy of it. So. Matter of fact, I probably still have that 1-inch videotape somewhere in a box.
If
The
they
original one,
bring
reel to
that,
reel.
if they bring that commercial back, are you guys going to get residuals?
Scale plus
yeah,
10.
they would have to give us residuals.
Scale
That's
plus
not
10.
right, right?
They were going to do it once. They were going to like bring it back.
Let me tell you, I get residuals from movies. I stunt double Through Lies there, and I still get little residuals for that. I just gotta.
I gave him a picture of you in 1917. Like you stunt double, you're all sitting in the trenches.
Oh yeah, that was
1917. Right?
the Brad Pitt movie. No,
Or is that Button? Benjamin Button?
Benjamin Button. Yeah, I was one of the. I was like one of 100 stunt guys. Were running across these minefields, and they had real bombs. These real little, they call them burger bombs. They made bombs in these hamburger boxes, and they're marked so not to fall in that. If it goes off, it could still hurt you or kill you. And I was wearing a gas mask in one, and it was so hot and it was humid, and we're coming out of these trenches, and my mask fogged up and I couldn't see. And I had my gun, and it was like this old gun, and I'm trying to cock it, and I run into a tree and I fall down, and the director yells, "Cut! Who was the guy that ran into the tree? That was great." That was great. And the only reason I ran into the tree, I couldn't see anything.
There it is.
Yeah, I recognize those feet.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Where'd they go?
Hey, put yourself up. Put yourself on the screen so we can see behind you. No, just go to you.
Oh, okay. Hold on a minute.
There it is.
So, yeah, look at, I remember that. Yeah, the brown van.
There it is.
Fuck yes.
Is this what we're looking at?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that pop up behind you.
Where'd it
I
go?
went, there's the shot. That's it.
Hold on.
That's legit.
Why?
If you can see where Ed is.
That's
That
a snake
kink
run?
at the bottom of that thing is just brutal.
That's a snake run at Sensation Basin right there, right?
Yes.
Are you, Rob, are you seeing the boxes in the right-hand corner with all of us?
Yes.
Okay, look at Ed. Look behind Ed.
Oh, okay. Oh,
See?
yeah, that's Alan. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, excuse me for standing up, but I've been driving boats all day standing. I got a leg cramp. I got to stand up or I'm gonna like.
I'm familiar with how that works. I was trying to get this.
Got the Molly shorts and everything. That's some cool.
So my
shit going
dog's
on
such
there.
a man. He wants me on there.
That's
There
it.
it is.
That's just so burly. You can't see below, but that kink is so bad.
Yeah.
Four fucking feet.
Yeah, right there. Oh man.
4 feet of
Oh,
vertical.
that would ruin your day. That
That
kink.
is a total of 4 feet. And look at the plexiglass. It's sticking up above the 2x4.
Yeah.
So
Like a good couple inches.
that's even dangerous in its
So
own
you're on the
right.
razor's edge. That was like what the pinball ramp was on the north side.
Yeah.
That was it. It was like a couple inches.
So there was
But not
never
like
a
the
picture
wasn't
taken
burly
without
like
a
that.
tracker truck sticker in it. How much for the tracker truck sticker? How much per picture, per
Oh,
sticker?
man, it was a little bit of money back then, but if you got a centerfold, it was like $500. If you got a cover, it was like $1,000. But if it's a regular picture, it's like a couple $100.
That's awesome.
So when they built this
they had
thing, they
stickers
said
on it.
nobody would ride the top of it, and it was only whatever, an inch of vert.
I mean,
if that.
honest to God, that still holds up today, man. That was burly.
Well,
think I have
even if you don't know what's on the other side.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the
I guess
concept.
that's what makes it so much burlier because we know what was there.
So let's tell the folks what's on the other side. The same damn thing. It's like this.
Oh yeah, all about maybe 15 feet across away. You know.
Exactly. It's about 18
No
feet
flat
across.
bottom.
Yeah.
No flat bottom, though, remember?
So all he's doing right there, he's looking at the oncoming transition on the other side, hoping he doesn't leave red blood all over the place. And then he does 2 rock and rolls in a row.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's plexiglass, so we all know it's going to slip and slide, and you got that little chunk down coming at the bottom, so you can't really put all your weight into it coming in. So you can't have a really good control until you get past the kunk, And now you got to save your ass, and you're going right into the next wall.
I mean, that's equivalent to Tony doing 2 540s in a row back in the old days, you know?
That's true.
But he was doing them on 9 foot of perfect transition. So I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. All that stuff's so much easier when you have a perfect ramp. And I remember also when Sean Petty did the 10 elevator board drop there too. I was there for that.
At night, and all the flash bulbs went out. And he didn't make it.
I remember that.
The Clyde did the Clyde slide in too. That was fucking gnarly.
Every time. That's how he started his run.
He did disaster in. That's just so. I mean, I just don't want to trust. I don't want to trust anything that much. But he did it.
That's the first time I saw a layback air and Kelly Lynn doing a layback.
Oh, Cripstick. There you go.
Oh, that's Marina Del Rey. That's the Burger King commercial right after it, Dan. Yeah. I still had that board. Yeah.
So where are you at doing this huge air? This ollie?
That's a backside ollie on my backyard ramp. Gosh, I want to say that was, I remember I built that ramp when O.J. Simpson was doing the Bronco chase. So when was that?
That was 94. 94.
All right, so that's when that was then. right around there. And here, you guys want to hear a crazy story? You're never going to believe this, no matter how much you think. About a year or two later, where I built that, I'm still here. That's the same property I have right now. I'm sitting on that property where that ramp was. About 2 years later, guess who moved in 6 houses down?
No.
Ain't no Kalen.
O.J. Simpson.
No way. No fucking way.
True story. And my brother always had his electric wheelchair and always go by, and OJ would pull into our driveway to say hi to my brother had cerebral palsy. OJ would always be nice to my brother. Unbelievable. Yeah. So it's like I'm watching a Bronco chase building this ramp, and then 2 years later, OJ's living down the street.
2 years later, you're bringing cookies to this guy to welcome to the neighborhood. And you're like, what the fuck?
He always had a hot blonde with him in his SUV back then too.
Yeah. We'll leave that one alone.
Yeah.
That was that I was in an airport. I mean, everybody knows where they were. So that's crazy. So what's going on? You're a Marina Del Rey wearing all brand new gold Rectors. Look at you.
Yeah, well, that was after the Burger King commercial. I got my first check, had some money, and I went to California. And I was doing frontside rocks in that pool. I was almost getting across the channel, and I made that frontside air, that's for sure. Looks a little funny, but I made it.
You're riding a grip stick.
Yeah, we're out of the
money. You bought a shit like that.
Well, that's what I did. I wasn't riding. Well, I didn't run into Alan yet at the Kona contest. I mean, I saw Alan before. Solid Surf.
Are those rib bones or are those Schmidt sticks? Because it looks big for rib bones.
No, those are big.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. But I wasn't riding for Pal yet then. And I wasn't long before that, though. You know, it probably was less than 6 months. Because after that, I went to Kona and won I won a contest at Solid Surf, and Bruce Walker sponsored me. And then the Kona National, the Kona Summer Contest came, and I won the half pipe there at the pool. I forget. I won. It might have been. And then that's when I ran into Alan, and Alan got my number. And to go skate at Solid Surf.
For all those folks at home that are young and they're watching this around the world, getting your phone number, that was only half. You had to be home to answer the phone. And maybe your parents would leave a message if somebody would, ask them to nicely. And then you had to go home and get your messages and try to call the person back that would be then standing beside their phone in their kitchen with their parents listening. It was a different world, and it was
answering machines were like
They called my mom when I was in California about the commercial, the Burger King commercial. And my mom goes, he's in California. He's always there. And call these guys. Or she gave him one number or something like that. And I'm like, wow, you guys got like 20 grand for that, right?
Yep.
That's
We
awesome.
made more than that. We made more than that, right, Dan?
Yeah, whenever somebody asks, that's what I say.
Yeah,
20 grand.
it was more than 20. It was north of 20. That's for sure.
I want to say 20,600, blah, blah, blah.
Somewhere around there.
That's a lot of money back then. I think McGill. No. And the story is, Alan, McGill and I were always fighting kind of back then. And this is true. McGill hid my board right before my run at the pool at Kona. And this is before I wrote for Pound. I remember saying to Stacy, hey, you got to talk to McGill because him and I don't get along. But after that, of course, I got on Pound. We got along. And then I found out later that he was supposed to do that Burger King commercial. That's what I heard.
Oh.
We were together in California, and I think both of our parents said, oh, those guys are in California. Something like that. It's just pretty funny.
Something happened like that. It's true, right, Alan?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it turned out all right for Mikey and Alan.
Yeah, I think they did okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What happened here?
All right, so
Dang.
that's early mid 80s or whatever.
Okay, so
Serious backside air.
all right, so that's a backside air at St. Pete contest.
Yep.
And that's the channel. That's probably the air where I landed and did the invert across the channel, because that looks to be about a 7-8 foot air. So yeah.
So these are both Grigley's ramp, St. Pete.
They're both, and the layback air, it's debatable whether I made that one. I might have. You could see the channel there. So if I was doing an invert, I would be coming look at that backside air. If I land, you could see I'm sizing up that channel.
Yeah.
It's sort of like like a lake hip hop kind of thing, or would you just go crossing, plant on the other side? Because
I planned it on the other side. I planned it on the other
side. Would you like plant on one side, lift his hand up, and then plant on the other side, kind of thing, like a double touch. You're just saying go across to plant. That's it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't they have one of these that was sideways and had a big parking lot with like bleachers that you could sit in and watch the contest, watch the ramp? I know I went to one.
That I think.
No, that was the NSA contest they had at that tennis court in Tampa or somewhere.
It was in St. Pete. I remember it was 90, 80, 88. 87.
Oh, okay. Not sure.
Grigley's ramp was just what a place for stuff to happen.
Yes.
Well, we got a little bit of the old Lamar. Sorry about the copy. This is a friend of yours. This guy's a hoot.
Yeah.
Rob, you still with us?
Yep.
What's his name again? I met him at Spot.
Oh wait, I can't see. Well, that's Cleo. Where's Cleo? I see Cleo there.
Talking about the one below.
Oh, that's Nick. That's Nick Fridella. He did all these biker reality shows. He was a fabricator. Unfortunately, he passed away about 10 months ago.
Oh man, no. He was a cool dude.
Yeah, he grew up across the street from my house, where I had my first little mini ramp and then half pipe, and he would always help me build stuff. And that was the Hall of Fame, the Florida Hall of Fame we had at the Spot, and he came. Yeah, and he used to do all these travel around the world doing these bike shows.
So those those are real implants. Those are like part of his.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Those were real. Yeah, in other words, I want to say they're real. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, permanent.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I mean.
So we'll have to get on the guy who put the same.
In other words, those are a life choice. Yeah.
It's some,
Yeah, he was.
There's Wayne.
Yeah.
He doesn't have long hair anymore. I don't know
Money
what.
there. There's Wayne.
Wayne, Monty.
Yeah.
Rodriguez, right?
Yep.
Where's Rodriguez? Oh yeah, he's out of the pit. Yeah,
Behind the
that's
box.
Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so by the way, Rodriguez was the first best skateboarder I ever saw. He was doing freestyle, and he's a guy that was doing it at the elementary school across the street from my house. So
I saw a video from him like doing it in New York recently, not that long ago. Of course, I'm saying I'm not long
he
ago,
lived
like
in
10 years.
Well, I mean, when he got out of high school, he moved to New York to play in a band to be a drummer.
Yeah.
And he played at CBGB's and all that stuff.
I
And,
see, I
and
saw
now he has
he posted the videos him skating. When I say not that long ago, but like I say, not that long ago, it could be 10 years ago. You know.
Yeah,
exactly. It's all relative.
Yeah.
Well, that's the first time I met George McClellan. He was doing something on a skateboard. I was like, what are you doing? He was walking it up the driveway. I was like, what the hell is that? Tell me about that. So it's like,
yeah, how bizarre.
and what's this guy's name over here at the GFL
Oh, good God. Hold on.
in Cocoa Beach?
It'll come to me. That's not Roach, right? No, that's because there was one guy that had the little dinky
can't
little
see,
peanut
that's
bowl in
why.
his backyard.
I know we got the marina, you got the Miami inverted shirt on. That's why I threw it in
Well,
there.
you know, the story behind Miami Inverted is, to make a real long story short, in November of 2001, the Soul Bowl moved to Coconut Grove because of the terrorist attacks. They couldn't do it in New York in Central Park, and they moved it here. And I sent an email or something, and I said, hey, I would love to, to Don Bostock, or I think he was running it. And he says, oh, sure, come ride. So I showed up. Next thing you know, Caballero's there, McGill's there, Lance Mountain's there. Alan, I think you were there, weren't you?
No, I didn't go to that one Soul Bowl. I went to a couple other Soul Bowls. Not that one.
Yeah. Well, anyways, Monty was there. A bunch of people were there. And I didn't know how the new format went. Anyways, it was like the best run of 3. It was like the runs were 45 seconds. In my first run, I made everything. My second run, I did a 50-50 hooked up and fractured my shoulder. They took me to the hospital. I come back with my arm in a sling. And McGill comes back, runs up to me. Hey, man, you made the finals tomorrow. Are you going to skate? So, and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to skate. Broken arm or not, I'm skating. Fractured shoulder or not, I'm skating. And so the next day we got rained. It was some hurricane, a little offshore that came nearby. We got rained out and I won $700. And
Nice.
I couldn't work or do anything for 3 months. And I wrote that book. I was sitting at the little bar by my house, Ted's Hideaway on South Beach. And I would write little notes on napkins when I remembered things, hearing a song in a jukebox. I'd go home and I started putting it all together and I started doing pictures, and I self-published that book. So that's the story behind it. And that's like 2000, and I got it. I mean, it took me like a couple years to do it. So came out in like 2005 or something.
Just happened.
I thought you said they were going to be worth $2,000 now. I'm going to find mine. And
Oh, they're on eBay. There's some of them on eBay for $1 or $2. I don't know, $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
I got pictures of Hollywood there.
where is that?
Oh,
Come
coming up.
For an hour,
Hollywood's
you have
coming
to
up
call my
next.
agent McGill for me to go longer. I don't know if that's gonna work. So I have another
there's one.
podcast to do in a few minutes at 9:00. So I appreciate you invited me to the show.
All right, Alan.
Great time, man. I'd love to come
Yeah.
back another time and get some,
Thanks.
early years.
Thanks, Alan. I got to see you
Thanks,
sometime
Alan.
soon.
Thanks a lot,
Good
bros.
to see you, sir.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, Alan. Alan
man.
Ollie Gelfand, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for
What's up,
coming.
Good to see you.
You got Lloyd about that. Look at
What's that?
Yeah.
that.
LG.
Teach me how to do it one day. So we've got this is actually the Hall of Fame that Alan didn't come to. Have a good one, Alan.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Peace. This was Thursday, I think, before the weekend started. And
Yeah.
So we're making a full circle here. So we've got Lloyd Gillick and Phil Hajal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So in Cleo Coney didn't make it tonight from Coping Block Magazine, and also, but he skated for Vision for a long time and a lot of different. Did he skate for like everybody?
Tracker. Tracker. Yeah,
he rode Tracker boards. Yeah, that was his. I think his first big sponsor was Tracker. Then he rode, of course, for Vision. Yeah, and what is on Vision? Did do everything. Vision had the shoes, the clothes, the boards, everything.
It was amazing. Did a lot of traveling. And this guy, I mean, I don't even know who Phil Hajal was. And I go to the thing, and I'm thinking I'm going to watch Mike Frazier skate the pool. And Phil was the only guy skating it. And he was skating.
You're talking about the big one.
Yeah.
The big one.
Oh, that thing was early. That was scary.
The story about the big one is Mike Frazier calls it the Humbler.
Yeah,
he's been knocked out twice in there. He doesn't ride it anymore. That's what I heard from Phil Hajal. Told me that. I played around in it a little bit. You could get used to it, but God, I wish I had that 20 years ago, right, Dan? 30 years.
Now it's just scary. It really is.
Is it like 9 feet and then it goes to 14?
It's a monster.
I mean, how deep is each section? It's like 14 feet, right?
I was humbled. I say, all you got old guys that came out, you were tearing up that little bowl, the one behind you right there. You guys were all killing it. I was going like, damn, that seemed like work to me. You guys were killing it.
That little bowl is fun.
Yeah.
I got videos somewhere of
Smith was car grinding the hell out of it. He was kicking ass.
Paul was killing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sure was.
And then let's see what else we got going on here. This was an earlier time.
Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate when you get Cool Guide by Lloyd, but he got me in this one, so I had to call him out. I don't know, who is this? Alex Sargente?
That's Alex Sargente.
No.
Alex Sargente.
It is.
Yeah, that's little Alex Sargente.
Wait a minute.
Oh, that's my brother there.
Yeah,
Alex
we're gonna go
Sargente,
back.
me, Lloyd, Wayne, Robbie.
Holy crap! I'm gonna
Look at that little Alex Sargente.
I love watching that kid skate.
Oh, he's amazing. All those like bowl series, park series, those things, he kicks ass, man.
He's ready to kick my ass too.
Anyway, the shame on that is he could have cleaned up in the Olympics if he didn't get injured. He could have.
Right.
It
was meant for him that course. Alex has been at my house more than a few times, not in a while though, and he just kills. He just kills it like it's nothing.
Mark laid the ramp 48 ramp. He tore that thing up too. He's killing that thing.
Well, I mean, I skated with. I think he was a little bit older at Grind for Life and Dunedin. And I did a grind. I skated 3 runs. My practice run, I fell and got a rug burn. And then did two runs where I did a frontside grind, went out to the parking lot, and his dad fixed me up with first aid stuff, and he comes out, he goes, "Gnarly grind, dude." And I'm like, "Who are you?" Just cut it out. And then you find out that he's huge. He is killing it. He's living that life.
Yeah.
So has anybody ever ridden one of those nightmare boards? Just gotta ask.
No, I used to, when I rode for Bruce, I rode Mark's board a few times, and it was the best sport I ever had for backside.
It works. It's funny as hell. You think, no, it works.
And I did frontside Smith grinds with that board, and it was because it had that wide spot. You could set the rail on. Yeah, I used to like that board. Every now and then I still get a board.
They were heavy. I don't know.
They were big.
They were
They were
heavy.
fucking
Same
giant.
deal. Same thing we dealt with Kryptonics. It's like
Yeah.
they were heavy as hell, and all of a sudden I get on a power board. I go like, these things don't weigh anything. What the hell? It's like I've been lugging this thing around for I mean,
None of them were like Markel heavy though.
Well,
But-
that's true.
yeah, Walker's boards were heavy. When I went from PAL to the Walker boards, I wasn't happy. The boards
Yeah.
just
Walker
was-
boards were heavy, but yeah, Markel wins that battle.
Yeah, well, those marine plywood, with it was like something off of a bar where it was so thick, the stuff on it. But I had fun skating Hollywood. It was great. Robbie, I wanted to tell you, when I dropped in the first time at Hollywood, by mistake, I did the only ollie I've done in my life. I pitched out and then pulled the board out with my left foot, my front foot, and landed in the transition. And I was like, holy shit. And I pulled it off. And then you're telling Lloyd, he goes, Ed just ollied in. And I'm thinking I could barely do a backside kick turn anymore. I don't know how I did that, but I pulled it off. And I'm glad somebody saw it, and I lived to. I didn't have to go out the trap door.
You meant to do that. Own it.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to punch out, gentlemen.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming. Good
All right.
seeing you.
So that was George McClellan, and St. Louis Obispo or somewhere around there. Thanks for coming, George. So again, that's Alex Sargente. I'll have to tag him in this. And let's see what else we got. We got a couple more slides. I want to see Scott here. I watched this video. Wow, dude. What a great guy and what a great brother.
Yeah, he just wanted to have fun and do everything he wasn't supposed to do, that's how he lived his life.
Don't say can't.
Yeah, exactly.
He's driving a boat, he's driving an airboat, he's driving a go-kart, which he shredded. There was no look on his face. You could see the determination, and to have somebody give him the kind of support that you and I guess your parents were helping him with this too.
Yeah. Well, my dad would always come home with something like a dirt bike or a three-wheeler or a go-kart, and Scott would be off. Then he started driving, and and he had the cerebral palsy that affected his whole body and his speech. So for him to be doing what he was doing, that's my ski boat when I used to wakeboard a lot.
Yeah, that's nothing we mentioned. Robbie was a serious wakeboarder too. Yeah,
I did pretty good. I think that's what messed up my hips more than the skateboarding was that wakeboarding. Yeah,
we're talking
a lot of wakeboarders
too. I mean, serious competitive.
Oh,
yeah.
So did you go like on the lakes they got with the winches and they just
I used to do that and hit all the obstacle courses. I did all the big airs and the hoochie glides, which a hoochie glide is like an Andrecht on a skateboard. That's what a hoochie glide is on a wakeboard.
Yeah, I was gonna say we
got
do
pretty
it,
good at it.
Ski Ricks in Deerfield Beach sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We have one here at Amelia Earhart Park. We have the Rixton too now.
No.
I haven't been there in a while. I got to go there and try it. The thing about my brother, it's, growing up with your brother, having to use a wheelchair and crawling on his hands and knees. Here I was skateboarding, and think of my poor mother. She's got one son in a wheelchair already, and here's another son trying to put himself in a wheelchair, the craziest thing. And he always supported what I did.
I mean, he just seemed like he was so well supported by everybody to have fun. And it was such in the spirit of things. It would have been such a travesty. And it happens a lot if you have that will to live and nobody is giving you a chance.
Right.
But he got all this support and you can just see it. I mean, it's emotional to see this.
Yeah, he got away with murder. He would run from the cops and they would pull him over and they couldn't understand him. They'd take him to the station and I would go pick him up and they just didn't know what to do with him. Yeah. you know, to make right now, I wrote a movie script. I started it about 5 years ago before the pandemic, and I finished it for him. It's called Hell Yeah, the movie. And right now, some other writers took it up, and they're finishing it. And now there's all these different content, people looking for content. So maybe someday we see the movie.
Well, I mean, that's what I watched too, and I screen grab these. If they get mad, I can take them down. I mean, it's not like I'm getting overrun with hits here. But guys, look out for a Scott Weir story. Hell yeah. And it's a great story.
Which, I say it's kind of unrelated, but it's a perfect opportunity for me to thank Robbie, because Robbie hooked me up with some freelance work, doing dailies for a feature film. When I walked into my main work one day and they literally said, "We're shut down." I walked in on a Monday, they went, "We're closed." And so I was unemployed and freelancing. And he said he was working on this whatever he's stunt, or you don't know if you were doing trailers or stunt work or both. But what was that one movie? And
Finding Joy. Finding Joy.
Sorry? Yes.
Yeah, Finding Joy, right?
Yeah. And so I got to do daily work on that, and some editing work on that, and that kept me going until I could get at O2 Media. And so so that was great.
Well, Teresa, that was the production coordinator on that. She's big time now. She works in all the huge features. And Bad Boys 4 is starting, or we got the strike going on now, so they're on hiatus waiting to see what happens.
The actors walked today, right?
I don't know. They're supposed to, and the writers. So
I knew the writers were gone, but
the writers have been out for a while. But the reason the Screen Actors Guild is kind of doing it is they're more concerned about this AI thing. That's the big issue now. So
artificial intelligence.
Teresa is the one that's got my brother's script, and that she's taking care of that. She's moved it on to the next level. So who knows? See what happens.
Reach out to us, Teresa. We'll be happy to help. And Dan's really good. He's got your back. So that'll be awesome. That'll be even a better tribute. Now, this I found by just hunting a little bit. Is this you, Rob?
No.
No, it's not you?
On the motorcycle? No.
Yeah.
Is that a motorcycle doing a backflip into something?
That's it. At Travis Pastrana's.
That's not me. I've never been there.
Well, I thought it was you. It still looks pretty cool. Let's see if we can find out what happens here.
The turtles are back.
No, the turtles are back, guys.
The big New Yorker, just $13.99.
Rob Weir, moto backflip.
God, there must be another. I know there's a Robbie Weir that's really good on the scooter. Like the push scooter. Mutant Mayhem.
It says it's Rob Weir, so I'm gonna go with it. Seems like
my stunt double.
Yeah.
My stunt double.
I say stunt double. That's right.
Seems like something you would do. And then we were talking about this. Now, this is something. Wait a minute. Hold on. Gentle with the yes. But isn't this where Monty was riding and you said you wanted to ride? Isn't that about?
That's runway.
All right, that's the runway. I'm up on that medium half pipe on the brick wall where I should, and that's a frontside rock in the runway pool long time ago. So long ago. And then there's another picture of Monty doing a 50-50 pre-Monty grind. I mean, that's a Monty grind there in Gainesville, a ramp in Gainesville on the right. But there's another picture I sent you of Monty doing a 50-50, and you can already see that's the beginning of the Monty grind. And I took that picture. I know.
Well, what's going on here? Explain this. I never went to this place.
All right, so this is the medium half pipe. Behind that is the big half pipe. I'm probably about, gosh, over 8 feet up that wall. That's about 8 feet where the cement ends, and then I'm on the brick wall by about a foot or so there, or two. And you weren't supposed to go up under the brick wall when they designed that. And that's the runway down in Miami.
What's this? What is this in the shadow? Is that
that's a bridge that walked over the small half pipe, the big half pipe. And you could see I would have hit that with my back, right? Yeah, if I went under there. Yeah, and it was a really cool park if it would have been marble smooth.
If the park was decent, I mean, think about with the shots you could have got from the bridge and that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
They had this one pool which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't all that great. You can see that the coping was molded. It wasn't really like coping.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Sean Petty.
Actually, the snake runs as far as it goes was pretty good.
The big snake run in the back was great.
Yeah, it holds up to like Kona. It's like that kind of snake run. And then not so much downhill, but it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the one they show us all in a line in the Burger King commercial go down through the snake run.
Yeah, that was the medium snake run. Yep.
First as snake runs go, it's good.
Yeah, that would be good today. It would.
Yeah.
What was the name of the park that had the water slide?
Solid Surf.
Solid Surf.
That's Peanut Pool.
So
that was home for me. That's where we got cast in the Burger King commercial. That's where that double shot is.
So
that's Solid Surf Peanut Pool. That's the last pool. That's one that Alan and those guys designed.
That pool wasn't there then when the Bowman and Olsen came.
Right.
And 78.
They had the keyhole in the back. Yeah.
They had the keyhole in the back with the rough cement. That's what I remember.
The one was like 6 foot high, or
maybe 8. Yeah.
I think it was 8. And Steve Anderson, or Dan used to rip it. Steve Anderson used to rip it. And I remember Shogo Kubo doing board slides in there.
I remember Shogo coming back, and we were all just ecstatic with the peanut pool once it got in, because it was to us it was smooth and beautiful and great. And Shogo goes, "Man, this thing is all kinked." And we're like, "Where?" And then when we went out to California, we went, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Like Marina Del Rey. The funny thing is, at Del Mar was a great pool.
It had a bump in it. It had a bad bump.
There was only like one kink in the whole thing.
Yeah.
I remember.
I was gonna say Upland, for all its how great it was kind of sketchy compared to like all that other California stuff.
People were scared.
Of course, I'm saying like the trip we took out with Paul Schmidt when we were out there more recently in like the mid 2000s. Everything out there is just jet smooth, amazing. Holy crap, So.
Yeah, but when the Hester series went to Upland, Albo was licking his chops because the Bowmans and the Hawks of the world were not gonna. They didn't want to play in that deep, rough stuff.
Oh yeah. 15, 13 combi.
I never got to skate Marina. I've always thought that was. That was where everybody loved to skate. Everybody talks glowingly of Marina.
That was easy to ride. So easy to ride.
So that's etched in my mind. August 10th, 1978, opening day, Marina Del Rey, the day I flew back from California.
Lakewood
was real good. All those pools.
The big half pipe was fun.
It slowed downhill. It got really burly at the end. Yeah.
How about Big O?
Good.
I never did.
So
the capsule pool wasn't all that. Capsule was cool with all that, but the little bowl, this side of if you're looking at the canyon, the bowl, if you're staring at the canyon, the bowl to your right, that bowl was a blast. Little, it's sort of like, it reminds me of the little bowl down at the end at Cherry Hill. Both those bowls were like a blast. Rock slide,
So I went out to California with Mandarino in the summer of '79. I'd learned how to do inverts. I had no money. My parents said, "You can't go to California." And they went to Europe. And I thumbed to Daytona and drove with Bobby and his brother to LA, and then we went down to Del Mar because we found out that there was a contest. No one, there was no internet, it was like, so we went down there and I get aboard and trucks. No, I didn't want tracker trucks. I got everything from Allen except trucks. I bought Indies from Olson for $5 and I couldn't get a ride. And every time I would drop in and I would get a ride, and if you skated Del Mar, there's like 30 people who could stand beside each other. It's crazy. So I couldn't get a ride. Alba would drop in behind me. Somebody would drop in. It was terrible. So then I went over to the half pipe. I go, I'll ride that. Well, it's like 50 feet deep, and there's there's like a fence a foot off the edge, and there's one guy skating it. His name's Mike Fulmer. And I'm like, he's like, I got to skate this. I can't skate that. And, maybe I can do something in here because nobody's even riding it. And I go, okay, cool. Give me some trucks. And he goes, I got Gullwings. I'm like, see you later. So I go to the little backyard pool, and that's when Wally Inouye was getting his orange and yellow photo shoot done. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? So I get the trucks from Olson because him and Bowman and Hackett are trying to hit golf balls out onto the whatever the highway is off the driving range there beside everything. So I'm like, I can't. All right, now I've got everything and I can't skate. And I look and there's only a few people skating the keyhole. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And I take my turn. And after 2 or 3 runs, I realize, and they do too, that I'm practicing with the women. And they said, and I said, oh, please, just let me practice. I will take turns. They said, okay, no snaking. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So I still couldn't ever practice my invert. But then I never did pull it off. But I noticed while I was sitting there that everybody in the park was going over to the freestyle area. So Rodney was there. And nobody'd ever seen him. So I got Fulmer in the half pipe, Gelfand flowing me stuff, bought some trucks from Olson, and Rodney's and it's like a big thing about Florida. And I think Gelfand got second there, that thing. And there was somebody else who had made a trip from Ohio with his brothers to go skate there. I just found this out a week or so ago. Chris Conway was at that contest.
Wow.
I mean, telling him the story of how pivotal the whole thing was, this shift.
I think I was there. What year was that?
That was the summer of 79. Because 78, I just moved to University of Florida, and during the winter, the Bobby Valdez sequential and skateboarder doing the invert came out, and I learned it. And what I had it down at the snake run that's 12 feet high, and I got there, and it's like coping. Oh shit! Well, how do you do it here? And I never did get enough chances to figure out where in that bowl to do it.
Well, but I always used to say, whatever, if you could ride that snake run, you could ride anything.
The snake
I know,
run.
I did. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Who used to like that snake run? Was it Speedy Pete? Whatever his name was, I can't remember what his real name. That's what Speedy Pete.
I used to like it. I mean, Billy Beauregard rode it good. That first wall, I was able to do inverts on that first wall.
Yeah.
You did inverts on the first wall?
The first wall, yeah, I sure did. That was a contest. I got to look at there's a contest. I got second place to Bockham in the snake run, I think it was. And that's when I was doing inverts and rock and rolls on that first wall. Sure, yeah. And that was a tighter wall. That was a harder wall to ride to get the speed into.
Oh God, it was 5 feet of vert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That was it was bad, man.
I think about it now, it's like insane, but all I can remember thinking about that was, okay, you just wait a little longer. Get that 5 foot of flat, you just wait a little longer and just don't, you got to slap it in a little bit harder to get in, but then stay unweighted as you come in. But yeah, just wait. I remember my brain just going, just wait a little longer, before you do your little pivot, just wait a little longer before you, straight. So instead of going like at Solid Surfer was this, so it was just this.
Yeah, you had to wait. Let me find this. What I wanted to show you guys.
Something
Okay,
flying around.
we don't
I
get
was
much.
gonna change the subject. I was going to ask you, did any of you guys get to skate Winchester? That pink pool kicked
Oh,
ass.
I heard
I
that.
heard it was
Oh my
awesome.
God. That was out of all the pools that were just amazing and smooth and perfect. Winchester pink pool was the stuff. Oh my God.
The
And it was
I
a hell of a
never-
contest. It was cab and it was like everybody's doing all their, George Orton was still doing it. It was an
Yeah.
amazing contest.
that's
Palmer was
where
there, Alan was
um,
there.
Kevin Peterson was doing. That's where he did Tim Martin did
Yes.
the rock and roll there.
Yep. That's where rock and rolls were. And that's the whole disaster thing when I did the disaster. And that was Stacy's doing actually. Hey, do that without you grabbing it. That's where the disaster story come from.
I still
Really?
do those to this day. I do those little fakey disasters and I do the ollie fakey disaster. I still do them.
I am trying to find something. If you guys hang with me, since I don't have let me just close it. No, okay. I'm trying to find something which was, and I don't know if I've showed it to you before, but the let me get over here. There we go. We'll find it. I've been going through Phil's footage, and there is pictures. Remember how the pool was all kind of sunk in? The one half of it was really sunk in. You guys still with me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you mean at Sensation Basin? Or
Yeah,
where-
that one side was flat and all mushed out. It was because
Yeah,
of the rain.
My biggest thing, because I didn't skate it enough, is learning to pump that thing. It was
yeah, and there was
different
always
pump.
water. There was always this brown water marks in the bottom. In there.
Yeah.
So
I gotta
Yeah.
God, where is this picture? I have the pictures somewhere, but I will send it to you guys. I owe it to you. But this is the main thing, is that it's not just that side of the pool that fell. You know, the little trough that Backham and everybody rode?
yeah,
That was like 5-6 feet deep. It was
Right.
supposed to be like 9 feet and serpentine. It had
wow.
been so awesome.
Yeah.
It was, and it was, it just, and hey, Phil, I love you, man. You did a great job, because I know he's gonna edit this, and leave this in, man. You did such a great job investigating how to build the right skate park and pulling it off. And it was in a time, 77.
Right. As I say, there was no guide map. I mean,
Oh, making it up as you go.
I remember seeing Rodney Bowen doing those inverts in that little trough. He would grab early and do these amazing inverts in there.
yeah,
Right.
Nobody gave him credit for that. He was a good transition rider. He just had to
That's
keep
right.
it on the down low.
What
He
you,
really
what
did
you
fit it.
don't
He
know
could've
is that
been
he
amazing.
did ride the snake run, and he
That's what I'm
did
saying.
ride. I saw him ride
And
maybe
Sam and
10 times.
Yeah. I would say
And
he-
Sam and Downey
you know,
Meyer
you
killed
know,
that
you
place.
know it was there if he was let to do it. you
Well,
know?
no, he
John
had to be
McGuinn.
mad enough. He had to be
Yeah.
mad enough to
Yeah,
do
but,
it.
but I'm saying if he didn't have those constraints on him, he could have tore it up.
All he has to do
Yeah.
is see you do it one
Could you
time.
imagine? Could you imagine all the vert tricks that would have come out of him?
Yeah.
They wound up being invented by Tony.
Right.
I mean, the finger flips and all that stuff. I mean, that's what he would just show up. We'd be skating, all of a sudden Mutt would be in line.
Yeah.
And that's what we called him. No disrespect. He didn't talk that much. So we called him Mutt. And he would drop in and do a frontside air and a grinder and this, that, and then he would come in and go,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, Donnie and Sam Meyer, absolutely shredded.
I remember John McGuiggins rode that snake horn pretty good too.
McGuigan is a lifer with the skateboarding, and he's still around. He was with Kona all during the dark years, and he really he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, but he really loved skateboarding. What are you gonna do? I rub people the wrong way too. But I know you were you got interviewed in Cleo's and skateboarder magazine that Cleo does, which is Coping Block Magazine out of St. Pete. He's close to his 100th issue, which is just phenomenal. And it's so great to see him do it and hard. And I know he's just losing money. So I want to promote him as much as possible. So people, is it copingblockmag.com? Guys, we'll get mark the tape. We got to put up a link to Cleo's magazine for everyone. We should have
on Instagram. I guess it's just on Instagram. It's just Coping Block, I guess. So
hold on.
We got to do that because when you did that interview, and it's like when we get off of here, we get to talking, and there's Alan, and we got George in the car driving around. Is there anything that it's like one of these things that you want to say that you haven't? Is that no one's asked you about? I mean, how are you? You're physically good now, or is it still just a jinky knee?
Well, the hips are pretty good. I have to say, I try to stay below 180 pounds because, you get over that, skateboarding is not a good thing. But mainly what I've been doing.
I do know that.
Yeah, it's tough. So, but what my life is turned to right now is I have my little studio at my house. I get little jobs every now and then. I have the motorhome I rent out, but my main job now is looking after mom. That's what I've been doing. And she's 90 now. And
wow.
During the middle of the pandemic, she had breast cancer at 89 years old and had to have the right breast removed in the middle of this pandemic, which, just going to the hospital and all the protocols. I mean, it's been a nightmare. So I was just, and I just think of my brother. I had a friend of me call me the other day. He's depressed all the time. He works in the film business, and he was telling me this and that. And I go, look, dude, all I know is I just think about my brother. He crawled on his hands and knees for 46 years. So
46
it's hard for me to have. That's what I think about when I'm having a rough time. I can still skate a little bit. And I know there's a lot of people out there having a rough time now. And I think about it all the time. And so I just try, skateboarding keeps me grounded. Even though I'm not doing so much, it really keeps me going. Just to come out and play around, even if I'm just riding the low side of the ramp, I feel good after that. And it gets me, I'm good. I feel good for a few days and I can deal with all what life's throwing at me. So I have to say skateboarding kind of in a way, it's caused me some issues, but it's done so much more for me. I met all the people I work with in the film business because of that Burger King commercial. And it opened up doors for me. I got into the Screen Actors Guild because of it. And sure, I didn't make, $1 billion, this and that skateboarding. But for me, the best runs, I think Dan even knows this. I always practiced alone at my house. I had no one to skate with down south in Miami when I had the ramp in my backyard. And even this ramp I have here now, I sometimes have to call my neighbor who's a nurse, an ER nurse, when I'm skating, just in case I fall, And to this day, I've done some of my best tricks and some of my best rides that no one's ever witnessed but me. That's the truth.
It's amazing the similarities. Skateboarding, which led to that Burger King commercial, which led me into my career editing, post-production and editing. Okay. So it's like literally the same thing. Skateboarding got me the commercial, which got me good money, which then said, hey, that's what I want to do, television and film production. So, which then got me to editing. So it's like skateboarding was the thing for me too. And Robbie will attest this, you'll attest this too. You got problems like, and even now, just go to the little bowl, up 3 miles up the road. You drop in, you're skating, all those problems just go.
You can't think about that stuff.
No, yeah.
Kill yourself.
It's too late. It's survival.
Yeah. And honestly, getting back to, because I was always a Disney nut, same thing now with driving the boats. I get on the boats, I'm driving the boats, telling my stupid, corny jokes and just driving the boats. And it's like all the problems just go until like break time. And I go, oh yeah, I got this and I got that and I got this. And then get back on the boat.
Hey, let's
getting in the boats right now.
I want to
Gotta
play
find those passages, you know?
play something right quick because well, we'll play this one first. Wherever it shows up.
Yeah, there it is. Whole thing.
Is it showing up?
Now here's the question. I don't know which audio you got, because the real audio and like the Facebook, or not Facebook, what do you call it? YouTube replacement audio. The real audio works better, but let's see.
Another turning point, a box.
Yeah, that's the real audio.
Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of
Well, it's
Playing
got,
for me.
this one.
There it goes.
It's not in question.
I don't know if the audio is gonna catch up or what.
The audio's, yeah, the audio's off.
Predictable, and in the end, that's right.
Classic Robbie shot right there.
That's the cover of the skateboard.
Extreme frontside inverts.
That's the
There you
roll
go.
around. I got really good at those, rolling them around.
This is great. Hold on a minute.
Stop that for a minute. You have to look at that. And that's before I rode for Pal. Look at the dream. I'm gonna get in a Pal board at Christmas, and then 5 years later, I'm riding for Pal. That's what I say about playing for the Yankees. When you get that kind of offer, you go.
We're gonna watch it all over again because we're gonna have multiple audios. Yeah, we got double.
Yeah, honest to God, that's the Robbie I remember right there. It's solid serve.
I love this ramp.
That's my backyard ramp
Yeah, that's his backyard ramp.
with a big kink there. I was trying to fix it right there. I fell.
Oh,
Yeah,
top-notch base
that's my
night.
first ramp. That's my first ramp right there.
That's the one. There's runway.
That's the runway.
Okay, that's, yeah, okay, yeah, that's our doubles. There he is, yellow helmet, Robbie. That's that snake run. That snake run was good.
I never went down
Yeah.
that snake run.
So yeah, that's me, not the,
That's you.
yeah.
That's Kona. Yeah.
I think that was when I got third in behind you.
1982. Mad Rat.
Rat.
And you still got those Mad Rats?
No, I wish I
That's
did.
a solid fakey ollie. Where is that? Where does that go?
Oh, that's
It's
that's the Walker videos.
I'm still doing those fake ollies
Look at
too.
this.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I saw you doing those. I kept trying to do them in shallow and it's solid serve.
Look at that.
There it is.
That was the Bruce Walker Walker team video. That's the backside ollie. I used to do good backside ollies. I don't do those anymore. I mean, I
This.
guess I could.
That's
Oh, that was-
that's Brian Piccolo, right?
No, that's that park in Ocala, Thrasher.
Oh, I thought that was. Didn't you do that?
I did this big mute over this thing, a 360.
Yeah, I thought that one that we just went with the girl. I thought that was Brian Piccolo. That half.
Oh, that's Piccolo. Yeah, that's Piccolo. That's Stone Edge.
Yep.
Stone Edge. They just bulldozed
This
that.
is Ocala.
Yeah, it's just you just
This
went.
is Ocala.
Stone Edge just went away. Yeah.
Oh, it did?
No, I mean Stone Edge just got.
Yeah, bulldozed. So is this
Yeah,
just an actress they have in the show?
That's Brian Piccolo.
That's a guy?
Are you watching
No.
the three? Yeah, that was an
No,
actor.
Brian Piccolo skate park.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Brian Piccolo. It was a music
Or
video I
Mario.
did for the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
For the Lost.
Oh.
Say Brian Piccolo. I mean, the football player. It was named
Yeah,
after
yeah,
Brian
yeah,
Piccolo.
yeah. He was on
It's
the
Brian
Bears.
Piccolo Park. That was a good half pipe. That was kind of like that half pipe was kind of the template for the half pipe that Mark Lake had built at Ramp 48, because this one got demolished or whatever happened.
Right. It was a great ramp.
They just built it for the.
This is a nice half pipe.
Yeah, I believe that was for the Lost Boys. This rap group, the
That's
Lost.
it. That's Brian Piccolo, and that little spine ramp was my favorite. I love that spine
Oh,
ramp.
look at this. It almost looks like the damn the bird's nest or whatever they built for Animal Chin. This is a bunch of
almost. Yeah, that's Brian Piccolo Park in Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood, whatever.
Look at that.
Mark Lake,
and that's the Lost Boys. This is
Mark Lake's home, that ramp.
Oh no, this is a different band. I did a bunch of music videos, guys. I can't remember them all. Tons of them. I forget these guys were from Europe somewhere.
Looked very severe.
that half kicked ass. That part was good.
It's a good ramp.
Oh, that's the not Warped Tour. What is that one big contest?
Oh, there's an Indie Air at the Soul Bowl. That's Caballero. That's
Soul
Tony
Bowl.
Mac.
That's it. Soul Bowl.
Is that Tony Magnet? That's not McGill. That's Tony.
That was like Miami,
McGill,
right? That's when
he's
I
not
came
in
down
that picture. But that was like my first run where I made everything, and it was my best run, and I made the finals. And I was in the hospital. I come back, and McGill says, "Oh, you made the finals tomorrow. Are you going to ride?" And then, of course, it rained, and it got rained out, and I never had to ride. Thank God.
Todd Johnson there, right?
This is Johnson.
Yeah. Yes, that's Todd Johnson. Yeah.
It looks like almost like Tony Mag. I can't see who that is, but
that is Tony. That is Tony Mag.
Yeah. So Todd Johnson, Tony Magnuson, Cab, you.
Yeah.
I almost want to think that was Staub for a minute. The color is just beautiful. Paul Mitchell on the ramp. I mean, this is big time.
They would tear this thing up and move it all over the place. This ramp, believe it or not.
That ramp was great. I love that ramp. It was so easy.
Sort of like Van's Warp. Yeah, it was a bowl. So it was like Van's Warp.
It was like a
tear it down, move it,
it was like
somewhere else.
It was the same transition
for some reason
as Piccolo, and it was like 4 inches shorter. So it was. I mean, it wasn't intimidating at all.
Right.
And this is still the first run?
Well, that's probably the first run because that's an Indie Air, and I usually did that after a backside air, and then I would go into a layback air, usually after an Indie Air. And there's Caballero again after all those years.
This is a different run because those guys were right over here with him. So Tony Mag and TJ would have been over
this run here might have been my run because I remember Caballero.
What board was that?
That was Element. Wait. No, not
looks like the Mandalorian.
Rhythm. It was a rhythm board that this guy, Felix Arguelles, he sent me boards, and in rhythm, it was a perfect size for me.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's November of 2001. I believe November 3rd of 2001. This is a ramp in Wynwood, which is.
Where's Wynwood?
Wynwood is like the new Hollywood in Miami, where all the art galleries are. This was at my friend's studio, and we did something where they needed a ramp, and we built the ramp, and it was there for like a couple years, and I would ride it every now and then.
Yeah.
Downtown Miami, just north of 395.
So the artists are in Charlotte. There's the same thing. Whenever the artists find a what do you call it? An area that's cheap enough for them to live and to do and create art, then all the people come in and want to live amongst the artists. And now the artists can't afford to live there anymore. So they're
right. And it's like, for instance, this lot where you see these pictures at, my friend got it for $250,000, and now it's worth $12 million. That's what it's worth.
I think that the amount of value that's appreciating down there is a little accelerated compared to Charlotte, but I think it's the same genre. That's amazing. How long does he own it for?
Over 20 years, because that was like 20. That was probably the late 90s right there. 96. That could be like 96, 97.
What is that? 1,000%? Or
maybe he's had it 30 years. Gosh, I don't know.
Jeez.
But yeah, and the funny thing is he had a business partner that he bought it with, and that partner just said, take over the payments. And now it's, now it's worth over 10 million bucks. You got
it makes me not feel so dumb when you see and you think of, what are you telling the camera, Robbie?
Huh? Oh, I was telling him, I forget. That I was going to make the next one or whatever it was. Probably. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
So that was pretty good. I got another one I want to play. Hopefully we won't have, it's not as long.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Here it is. This is the last one you sent me.
Oh, that's recent. That's like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's the one I think I saw. I went, damn, he's still doing the hand plants. Nice.
So yeah, so everybody, this is July 13th, 9:42 Eastern Time, United States, and Rob Weir is how old? 31, 32?
58.
58, folks. Get some of this. Invert.
Yep.
God, rock and roll.
And that ramp is not small.
Now, the revert. To fake.
Little Dan disaster.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, that backside carve into fakie is something I learned in 79. And when that was all new.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I love that trick. I always use that to go into going backwards, I love it. I used to be able to do gay twist from that instead of a rock fakie,
You know what? I don't know. I lost. There is a certain point in time where you don't know. I think it was somewhere where Madonna's became Sean Penn's. And I lost grasp of what all these names were. The difference between a backside air and an andrecht or an invert.
That one's easy.
Well, yeah, but andrecht and invert was
andrecht and invert. That makes sense.
That was So
and Dan did great andrechts, that's for sure.
I like them so much better because you can contort them.
Yep, used to flap them back. Yeah,
yeah.
That's surf. I remember that.
But you never really wiped out on inverts.
For me, andrechts were easy.
Never fell. Dan Murray never fell. He hardly ever fell. He's the most consistent skater.
From invert, what is the worst fall from an invert you ever had?
I got knocked out on an invert.
You hang up?
Yeah, probably about last time I fell and got knocked. I was coming in on an invert and I didn't land my wheels flat, and I just went right to the bottom.
That's squirrel out, right? That like squiggle out.
You know what I mean? Like you're bringing it in, Dan, and your inside wheels hit before the outside wheels.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. So you
gets crossed up and you just slam. Yeah.
And I had no clue that was happening. So it was.
Mine front side rolling at the Peter Pool solid surf, hung up and broke my wrist.
Yeah, front side rolling at the runway, hung up and fractured my wrist and knocked my teeth through my lips.
Yeah. Honest to God, the worst one was Memorial Day, Paul Schmidt's Backyard Bowl, 2006, backside rolling, and everybody was there. The editor for Skateboarder Magazine, Thrasher guy was there. Everybody's there. It was at his party. Backside rolling, hung up, and I did this.
Oh no!
You can see that
compound.
Oh, I remember that. I wasn't
Both
there, but I remember
that. Nuvicular. Had to have the external fixator put in. That was the worst.
So I did an invert in the third wall of the basin one time. There was like nobody there. Well, they weren't over skating with me. They were beginners or roller skaters. And I did an invert, and remember, at first they just had the 4-foot wall, the 4 inches. They hadn't built any platforms on there. And I've got my weight way too far up. So now I'm standing there and I'm not falling. right? Because backside invert, you just fall in. You can see where you're going to go, and you pull in the wheels and you go in. I was perfectly balanced. And so I got tired, and I just went down and I put my board on the wall on top of my hand. So now I'm standing there and I'm trying to, I can't jump off.
I'm feeling that now.
I'm stuck. So I finally got it to where I didn't want to fall outside. I don't know why. The dirt just seemed more I don't know, but I finally fell and somehow managed to. The last thing I remember was throwing the board away. So I'm not going to let go of the board because I'm not going to land on the board again. I'm not going to have that. That fall will kill you. And that one, and then at Flying Wheels. Flying Wheels was. Let me turn the volume down. We can watch this forever. Flying Wheels was a passvert concrete half pipe, and I locked up and went straight to the bottom. And I woke up from my concussion getting high in the parking lot. So that was medical treatment on the road in '79. But no, it's amazing if you think about it. You said you're 58. 55. How old are you?
Yeah, and I do inverts and layback airs and backside airs maybe every 3 or 4 months. It depends how I'm feeling and how the ramp's feeling. You know how that is, Dan. You land something right, it just, you go, like if I land an invert right, sometimes I'll go right into a layback air.
Yeah, I can't figure that. Like a lot of times I'm struggling just to do basic stuff, and then sometimes you'll get there and go, I got a foot plant. It's like, how did I, it just felt right and did it just without thinking. And like my big thing is like my body remembers like frontside airs, like bending down to grab that damn rail. Holy crap. It's like my mind says I'm there, but I'm like 6 inches short.
You got to pop twice as hard. It's amazing.
And
it's amazing what the skate that's what I say.
It gets so hard,
Yeah, that's why I like Skate Light, by the way.
Yeah,
Skate Light is so forgiving. Yeah. And cement. The last few times I've hurt my knee has been at Brian Piccolo Skate Park in the bowl there playing around.
How's Brian Piccolo now?
It's fun. There's a lot of different lines in there. And
now that little mini bowl up front, did they wax the crap out of it? Last time I ever rode that, it was like wax to hell.
At Lot 11 or Bucky Dent? I'm talking about Bucky Dent. What was I telling you? Bucky Dent, there's this new skate park in Hialeah.
You said Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking to Piccolo. I meant Bucky Dent, which is
these are all skate park names, guys. These are all former baseball and football players, but that's okay. It's Miami. Get over it. So that's crazy, but I can remember what you're saying. I can remember going to the park and going, nothing's working.
Right.
So I'm just going to do backside kick turns until I'm blue in the face, get a workout and move on. And, and then I'll come back. And if it's happening, it's happening. But when it's happening, when it's on, it's a spark. It's an amazing feeling, and I'm very envious that you can, that you still pull these off.
I see what he does.
Well, for instance, in this video, that was I made the second invert I tried. The first one was perfect, but I just threw it away, and I went in and made the second one. And of course, I'm terrified like everybody else. I don't want to get hurt, but let me tell you.
But you're doing it right off the drop in. You're doing it right off.
I mean, it's like, look, and the problem is because you make it look so smooth, it looks like, oh, that was easy. When really it's like you're going, like in your mind.
Now look where his feet, now where he comes down. He's over there. That's where you got that push out from the wheels.
Yeah.
When I did them at the basin, you had to go straight up and straight down. You see where his wheels are?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see where Miami Inverted's on the ramp, and he comes in way over there.
So and that's because I was coming at an angle from that extension. I couldn't.
When you're at the top there, you could see that little shuffle. Hell, you could have done a damn burial. You could have spun that board.
Yeah, why didn't you do a finger flip, Rob?
Yeah,
I've tried those on my layback airs, but not in a while. I used to be able to throw layback airs and do a finger flip. And actually, like, about a year or two ago, I was throwing layback airs and just playing finger flipping it and catching it, and I came pretty close. But that was over. Now,
What's funny is I watch this, and my muscles are immediately doing everything that you're doing, but I can't do it anymore.
I tell you, I got a lot of speed.
I'm literally going.
That invert landed.
I'm doing. My brain is going. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so
it
let me.
feels good.
You skated longer and you still skate. This is a couple of days ago. Did you ever do stairs and rails? And did you ever have a filmer that was your guy that you would go to places with?
No, I was. You know what? I wasn't that bad of a street skater. I don't think I have any video, but I would ollie downstairs. I could do the rail slides. I was pretty good at that stuff, but I just always wanted to ride. Well, there was always half pipes after all the skate parks closed. That's what I wanted to do.
Right. So that now, I mean, I guess now it's just so huge, and finding and I'm trying to. Somebody, it was my nephew Caesar Ritchie. Shout out. He explained it to me. He goes, when you were skating, you went to Solid Surf or Sensation Basin or Clearwater, wherever you went to that park, and it was the mountaintop. He goes, well, the lake that was in that mountaintop has got tributaries and rivers and little places that people haven't ever skated, and we're going to find those. And that's what we're doing. And so then when you ride by someplace, like we used to have this, I don't know if it's worn out. It's right along the same Venn diagram as I took the skateboard out of my car when I was 28 or whatever that day was, when I quit having a skateboard in my car. You probably still got yours in the car, Rob, but I don't. But you remember driving somewhere and you go, that'd be fun to skate. I don't look for that.
Oh, no, I look at, yeah, I still do that. And like whenever I always stop at Lot 11 in downtown Miami, because I like that bowl there, and I always hit that before I go to the beach normally, and then I go out on my paddleboard and play around there. I try to keep my board with me because you never know. But
so my skate bag's in my office down here, but yeah, it's not in my car anymore. Like,
I got 3 or 4 boards to give away,
and I keep thinking, geez, I should throw that in the car, because I can't tell you how many times I go, hey, that's, or I'm near, hey, that's, you know. Well, then my mind goes, gonna get hurt, you know.
You know, when I was sponsored, you know, by Powell and Walker or whatever, you know, I don't have many old boards left, because I would ride all my boards for a month and put a new one together, and I gave all my friends free boards. So that's why I don't have anything. I don't have any of my.
Think about all those boards. If you just taken one of those alley tanks, one of those McGills, just put it aside. After you used it up a little bit, put it aside. Could you imagine?
I don't have any of them.
Alley tanks and McGill fighter jets, I just burned through, and you know.
It was a great time to be alive. But if we could stress that, though, to give your boards away, give them to Boards for Bros. That's my charity. I started that with the guys down at Spot in 2006. So we're in 17 years now. And we take old skateboards and we put brand new wheels and trucks and bearings and give them to kids. So if you're that guy that has a sponsor and 5 decks in his car, and he's mad because he can't pull off a double disaster, pop shove it, dark side, blah, 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 and you're focusing your board, you suck. You've got to give that board to somebody else to ride. Don't snap your board.
No, yeah, pay it forward.
Yeah, give the boards to us. We'll make them all nice and good, and keep the trucks and the wheels and the bearings, or give them to your friends like Rob. I mean, you don't break a perfectly good skateboard because you are unable to pull the trick off. Or you do pull it off and you snap it. I'm sorry, I'm getting on my little soapbox. So Phil's gonna have a cow. Hi, Phil. Because I didn't do a very good intro. We said hello in a bunch of different languages. So I think it's bonsoir in France. Adios, ciao. Hasta luego. What else we got? Anybody else know any foreign
Buenas
languages?
noches.
Buenas noches. Adios, muchachos.
I
And
got my dog looking at me. What are you doing?
all right. So we want to thank
Was
you
it
for joining
Aviento? What is it? I can't remember.
the Skateboarding Bros show. Again, we're recording in July, and we would like to know where you're watching it at. So please comment on YouTube at Skateboarding Bros show, and I have a website that I never keep up at skateboardingbros.com. We got Dan Murray, we've got Robbie Weir out of Dan, you're near Orlando now, right?
Yeah, Mount Dora. So 45 minutes north of Orlando.
So he's Mr. Disney and the Burger King, and Robbie is still killing it down in Miami Beach area, all over the place at all the how many different parks are there by different guys' names? You have Bucky Dent.
Yeah, Bucky Dent, Brian Piccolo, which isn't there anymore, but Lot 11 is the
That's a new one.
world-renowned one now, yeah.
Yeah, is that the one under the underpass? That looks amazing.
It's great because there's shade there. Yeah, that's what's great about it.
That looks really good.
Shade is huge. Shade is huge.
Yeah.
So everybody,
Mhm.
love everyone, love each other, and keep skating. And thanks for watching. We'll be on the show with somebody new soon. Thank you.
You're watching the Skateboarding Bros Show. Stories from the pioneers of skateboarding about the history and the fun of the sport we love.